So big Monday night game this week. The Lions coming playing host to the Raiders, with the Raiders coming to town from Vegas. And of course, I'm wearing the Red Wings sweater because of NHL Frozen Frenzy tonight. The Wings playing at home to Seattle tonight. So yeah, got that there. But yeah, before that game goes in a couple hours, I'm gonna go over this game and go over all the key notes for this Monday night game. You know, very crucial game because it's the Lions' last game before the bye week. So, a very crucial game for the Lions, you know, to try and keep the top of the NFC North entering the bye. But yeah, let's take a look at the schedule just at the game this week, and let's take a look at some notes here and see how the Lions fare up against the Raiders this week. So, of course, I'm entering this game. Detroit, they're actually heavy favorites for this game, shockingly, as they are 8.5-point favorites over the Raiders. Honestly, I'm surprised the spread is that high, considering how Detroit got bit-slapped Sunday against the Ravens. I know some will make the argument saying, oh, but the Raiders got bit-slapped by a Bears team that was starting Tyson Bagent. So it cancels each other out. So, I mean, take that as you will. Honestly, I do not think that spread should be that high. Like, the bare most, that spread should be at least 3 or 4 points. I don't know what in the fuck Vegas is thinking putting 8.5 points. Like, honestly, that's a disaster waiting to happen. But anyway, Las Vegas, they lead the all-time series over Detroit 7-6, so been a pretty even rivalry recently between the Lions and the Raiders. So, of course, Vegas this year, they're 1-3 on the road this year, while Detroit is 2-1 at home. In terms of key players on the Raiders offense, of course, the big note here is Jimmy Garoppolo. He's questionable for this game with a back injury. He did miss last week against the Bears. Whether he plays or not is yet to be seen, so it could be a toss-up between either Brian Hoyer or Aiden O'Connell for who gets snaps in at QB. You know, odds are more likely probably will be Brian Hoyer if Garoppolo can't go, but you never know. O'Connell did get some time in. At backup, running back, you got, of course, Josh Jacobs, and a receiving core, you got names like Devontae Adams, of course, being the head there. You also got Jacoby Myers and Michael Mayer. You know, defense still has a lot of good playmakers in there. You know, you got Tyree Wilson, you got Max Crosby, you know, Byron Jones, Matthew Butler. For the linebacking core, they are Divine Diablo is questionable for this game with an ankle injury. The linebacking core still got some pretty solid names in there, like Robert Spillane. You got Luke Masterson. And then for the secondary, Nate Hobbs is questionable for this game with an ankle injury, but they got some other names in there too. You know, names like Marcus Epps, David Long, Trayvon Moehrig, and of course Marcus Peters. The head coach of the squad, of course, is Josh McDaniels, who has shockingly not been fired yet in the NFL this season yet. Well, I mean, the Raiders are 3-4, so there's really no chance they fire him yet. Plus, the Raiders don't want to buy out what's left of his contract. But yeah, it's kind of crazy that McDaniels is still here as the head coach, only because there have been so many reasons why McDaniels should be fired. But the Raiders are honestly taking way too goddamn long to pull the trigger on that. Anyway, continuing on, no, offensive coordinator, of course, is Mick Lombardi, and the defensive coordinator is Patrick Graham. The Raiders' offense is currently the 29th ranked offensive unit. So much for Josh McDaniels being an offensive genius. 18th in the passing game, but they are the worst running game, or have the worst rushing offense, ranked 32nd. So passing game's mid because of, you know, Jimmy Garoppolo being Jimmy Jesus. But the rushing game has been 32nd. I think part of that, though, is because of Josh Jacobs missing some time. I believe with that contract situation, though. But, yeah. Actually, it was Jonathan Taylor, my bad. But, yeah, the rushing offense has been pretty bad for the Raiders. But the Raiders' defense, the main reason why the Raiders are 3-4, though, is their defense. It's a top 10 defensive unit ranked 10th. They're number 5 against the pass. But the defense's big kink is the rushing defense, as their defense is terrible against the run. As the Raiders have the 24th ranked defense against the run. So they're very good stopping the pass, but not the run. So obviously for the Lions, I think the big key for the Lions to win this game, obviously, is establish the run game. Try to take advantage of that bad Raiders run defense. You know, trying to establish that, you know, really how the Lions attack the offense. Obviously, just get pressure to whoever the QB is. Whether it's Jimmy Jesus or Brian Hoyer, get some pressure there, you know. and, find a way to take, and keep him off the field too, because everyone knows how much damage Davante Adams could do, especially back from his days in Green Bay. So, yeah, best way to prevent Davante from doing damage is either get pressure to the QB and so he can't throw the ball. Also stuff Josh Jacobs, because Josh Jacobs is one that's a very solid running back. Gotta find a way to stop him. Try and find a way to get Davante Adams out of the game. Get some pressure to QB. Yeah, pretty much a lot of things the Lions didn't do last week against the Ravens they need to do this week. What made them successful the first 6 weeks? They need to find a way to do that again. They need to bounce back big time against the Raiders after what happened a week ago with the Ravens. So, and this is a must-win game, because it's Monday Night Football. The entire Tate Nation is watching. The Lions need to bounce right back on track, especially with the whole nation watching. So, this is a must-win game, especially with the Vikings winning against the 49ers on Monday night. I don't know how the fuck that happened, but okay. So now the Vikings are second in the division, and they're only 2 games back. So Lions need to find a way to gain some ground on the Vikings and company. But yeah, Lions need to win this game. This is a very crucial game. The Lions need to bounce back after what happened last week. If the Lions struggle against the Raiders, then there might be some cause for alarm. Really what the Lions do now from here on out, it really depends on what happens at the deadline. There have been a lot of rumors that have been going around, especially some rumors about, potential Lions being aggressive, standing pat, potentially making a move. There have been some rumors about potentially a deal with Washington about to go down. They're just working on pick compensation or something like that. I mean, most rumors you hear, even if they do indeed come from credible sources, you gotta take some of those rumors, though, with a grain of salt. It's just a wait-and-see type of approach. But, Lions need to come out here. They need to beat the Raiders, handle their business, handle their job, Plus, the Raiders' offense has also struggled, too. It's a pretty bad scoring offense. I believe the Raiders' offense this year has averaged only 16 points a game. But, the Lions need to be right. They just need to do their job, Plus, keep in mind, the last three times that the Lions have lost, they bounced back with a double-digit win the following week. So I don't know if they'll do a double-digit win because, McDaniels is probably fighting for his job, especially after last week against the Bears. So, the Raiders are going to be looking to bounce back after that embarrassment. But, Detroit just needs to handle their job, and, Ford Field needs to get loud as hell this Monday night. Monday night game, you always, every time you're on primetime TV, whether it be Thursday night, Sunday night, or Monday night, or hell, even a Saturday night primetime game. You always want to win these kind of games, within the whole nation watching. But yeah, the Lions, it's a game the Lions are expected to win, and they need to win this game. And I do think they will win this game. I think the Lions bounce back and win this game. I'm not going to take that spread yet because of what happened last week. But I'm going to say Detroit goes on. I'm going to say Detroit wins this game 24-20. I'm going to take Detroit by 4 points over the Raiders. I think that's a pretty reasonable bar there. Take Detroit by 4. That spread is way too high for me. I'm going to take Detroit in this one, though. But, I think the Raiders, I would not sleep on the Raiders, especially with that defense, though. That defense, I think, will keep the Raiders in this game. But, I think the Lions will take advantage of probably some Josh McDaniels stupidity. And the Lions will do what they need to do and get the job done against the Raiders. So I got Detroit winning. And I think Detroit bounces back and they keep a hold of their lead in the division by a couple games. They got to keep pace, though. Especially with Minnesota now creeping up. And Minnesota's playing Green Bay this week. But yeah, Detroit just needs to do their job this week. But anyway, though, and get this win to enter the bye week. Get this win and then get some rest in the bye week because the Lions have been pretty banged up. And especially with them Lions now losing Marvin Jones, as Marvin Jones has been released after he taking a leave from football for personal reasons. So, my prayers with Marvin Jones. Hopefully, I'm praying for him. Hopefully he pulls through during this tough time. Just give him the privacy he needs. But yeah, and yeah, it's will be interesting to see if the Lions make any moves with the deadline coming up. Will the Lions make a move like that? I think 100%, though, Detroit needs to make a move. They need to get a pass rusher in there. Someone that can help contain mobile QBs. But yeah, the good news is none of the QBs the Lions faced this weekend are mobiles. But, I'll be honest here, if I would be more concerned about the Raiders if Jimmy Garoppolo plays. I'm not really too concerned about Brian Hoyer. But yeah, Detroit just needs to go out. They just need to bounce back, do their job this week, and get the win. But yeah, that's all I got to say. And I'll see you over there next. Let's go get this W Monday night. I'm out.